Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Reley's Career Talks. I'm your host, Foley.
And hi, I'm Rebecca, so welcome back.
Yes, season two. I told you we are going to get some big name people, and I have a pleasure to introducing to, a wonderful person, a friend, even a mentor, inspiration to me in my career too. But I can't do him any justice. I like him to introduce himself to the audience, his name, his business to the audience.
Okay, guys, I'm Joseph Brim. I am officially, well, let me backtrack. I own a few small businesses outside of Columbus, Ohio, graphic design. I also do brand strategy. I'm just recently getting into fashion programming for the Columbus Fashion Alliance, as well as the Columbus City Schools. Full-time, I am an art director, just recently promoted today
Wow.
to another where today I just received an art director role, and I accepted the position today. So I'm yesterday, as of today, I'm leaving a Fortune 250 company where I was a senior designer.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man, congratulations, man,
Thanks,
on
man.
that
Thanks.
too. Yeah, they picked
Yeah,
the right person too. So.
yeah, yeah, it just literally happened today. Literally, I
Good.
just the offer letter today,
Mhm.
and I'll be working as again the art director for a medium-sized business out of Utah.
Okay. Oh, that's
Hey,
what's up.
that's really good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
So,
So I'm gonna get right into it.
you. All right.
You just told us a lot of things that you do. So how did you get into the things that you do today? So like, can you explain us your journey? Maybe even a little bit of your background, if you have your background. So just explain just a little bit more how you
Okay.
leave.
Absolutely. I've always been an artist, and growing up, just drawing and doodling around the home. I was told, because I come from humble beginnings. My mom was 16 years old. My dad was 16 when they had me, and I was always told that artists starve, and in order to make it in a corporate space or make a living, you can't depend on just doing art. And so honestly, I did that all the way up through high school, and was informed by an aunt of mine that I could actually go to school and use my art in a professional space. And it was architecture at the time, because that was the only thing that she kind of comprehended and knew that utilized that skill set. And I immediately was like, all right, I'm gonna do architecture, because I can't see myself doing anything else. And at that point, I went to my guidance counselor. We looked at some schools, and North Carolina State was one of the schools that provided the program. I also had the opportunity to go to University of Southern California. But obviously I selected North Carolina State University. I then went to the school to tour. And that was when the first time I recognized that you had to have a portfolio. And within 2 weeks of learning that I needed to have a portfolio, I immediately start putting my work together. I had it submitted to the school, and I got a full ride at the North Carolina State University. I did that for about 3 years, and I sound like I did college for 3 years, and it sounds like a job, but it was really 3 years. And then I immediately transferred to The Ohio State University, where I almost had to start over, utilizing those skill sets. So I did 3 years at North Carolina State, and because it was a semester transferring to quarters, I was going to have to start over. But at that time, I went to all of the department heads with my transcript, and I correlated, these are the classes that you're asking me to take, and these are the classes that I've taken. And by doing that, door to door at all of the department heads, I was able to get all my credits transferred to The Ohio State University, and I graduated in the 4th year. So I completed college in 4 years, and simultaneously I was at Discover Financial. And I did that on the phones. I started on the phones at Discover Financial, and I did that for about 3 years. Keep in mind, I did not know anything about corporate politics, how to grow within the company. I didn't know anything about resume writing, how to interview, because of my background. We just didn't know anything about that. You typically just give an application, you get a quick job. Try to make this story short as possible, because I don't want to take you guys' time and bore you to death.
Oh, no problem.
We eventually, I started utilizing design. I started teaching myself graphic design, and a little bit about marketing, branding, and how to develop websites. And I just start marketing myself within the organization by, asking them to let me do free projects. No pay, just let me do projects. It ultimately landed me 4 roles that were created for me at the organization. I am one of the first African-American designers in the call centers. And now there are multiple teams of designers. I'm also the first employment brand strategist, the employment brand associate, most recently senior designer. And now I'm, again, just accepted a role out of Utah as an art director. So it's always been a part of my passion to utilize that skill set of creativity. And that's the thing I focused on. I did not chase the money. And money is important. We know that it's important because it meets needs. But for me, it was chasing my passion and my skill set, and allowing my skill set to operate in spaces that typically didn't recognize creativity as a solution, but using it to show it as a solution. And it created those opportunities for me down the road.
Wow, that's amazing too. And you mentioned something that interests me, and I think will interest our audience too. A lot of times too, when people are kind of looking for experience as well, they're instantly looking for, I need to get experience to get a job to get paid, you know. But you chose to work kind of for free to get that experience as well too. And a lot of people say, no, I'm not going to do that too. What motivated you to, you know, to make that, in some ways, a sacrifice as well too, because you had this other job and then you had more workload as well too.
Yeah, you have to secure the bag. So first off, it's difficult for people to work for free when you don't have at least an income coming in. Mm-hmm. So let's to be a little bit more realistic, get something to meet your needs, right? To pay your bills, to feed your family, to even to splurge and have fun, right? And then at that moment where you can meet your basic needs, and you think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when you think of that, you got your needs met, you can then take on extra. But for me, it was a matter of carving out my path, right? And I was told a number of times, years of, during the 3 years of me being on the phone, that I would not be able to work as a designer in Columbus, Ohio. You have to move to Chicago. But I was determined that, no, I'm going to use my skill set and I'm going to work as a creative. And so what I called that was just marketing. I'm marketing myself. It's free. But in essence, it's not free, because you know how you walk through the mall and they give you those free samples of cologne, right?
Yeah.
Take some, or, taste this, right? We already chalked that up as in your marketing budget. And so what I encourage everybody, as an individual, you are your own business. Your name is the name of your business. Your signature is your logo. Put aside a marketing budget. If you don't have dollars to champion yourself into your next career path, then you have time. And then take that time and carve out just an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day to work for free. But again, it's in your marketing budget to go after what you want to go after. And so that's how I looked at it. I didn't have the money to put myself into school to go after those skill sets. So that meant I had the time. And now that I have the time, I would use those carved out moments of time to create a marketing experience by doing free work, so that I can gain that experience to do exactly what I wanted to do. And it has paid off.
Oh, wow.
That's really nice. I really like the way that you were told no, but you didn't take that no for an answer. Even when you were transferring over from your previous institution to Ohio State, they told you, you're going to start from the beginning. But I think that one of the things that I've heard you, or kind of gotten from what you're saying, is that you just can't take that first no, or even telling somebody says, you can't do this, you're going to have to find another way to do it. And I really think for our viewers, that's very important to have that tenacity and push, to know that, even if somebody says no to what I'm saying, they think I can't do it, you can always find other ways to do exactly what you're doing. So I really like that you showed that in your life and the things you've done so far. So my question to you now is, what are some of the things you're working on now, like projects outside of the things you can share?
I'm always working. And just to caveat back to the no, just remember, when someone tells you no, you have to have a realistic plan though. Mm-hmm. Again, don't just go gung ho. Oh, you told me no. I'm gonna blindly keep pursuing something, right? You know, if someone told me I don't have a singing career, I can't sing. Even though if I thought I could sing, I'm not a realistic singer, right? So that no may be something I have to accept because, you know, my voice isn't marketable. But in other cases, you know, recognize that if you have a plan and a strategy, to Rebecca's point, that no is not not definitive. It's just a milestone that you have to go around. But back to your question, I'm working with, again, the Columbus Fashion Alliance. We just recently launched a program. I built this framework with a guy named Rob Smith. That framework was accepted by Columbus City Schools and, again, CFA. CFA partnered up with My Brother's Keepers. And if you know what My Brother's Keeper is, good. Yeah. So what we did was we actually created a framework where we introduced 16 young Black men to the fashion and design industry who had no experience of it at all. Within 10 weeks, these guys not only launched a brand, but they opened up a pop-up shop downtown High Street in Columbus, Ohio. And now they're seeking collaborations, not seeking, they're actually being poached for collaborations with Midwest kids and some of these brands across the Ohio area. So I'm working on that. We're also building out a fashion club that's about to be embedded in all of the public schools around the city of Columbus. And we're also working on developing the second iteration of the Future of Fashion. And that was the name of the program. I'm also doing design work, you know, for a small brand. We're working out of Guatemala to build our own blanks, Foley. So I'm actually getting silhouettes created. That's actually in place. And just, again, recently accepted a role where I'll be building out a company, full product brand. So those are a few of the projects that I'm working on that can be mentioned.
Oh, man, that's wonderful. It's like, I'm like, dang. You know,
I'm also a dad. Also, I'm a dad of 3 girls.
Yeah.
And I still can't drop the ball there either. So
yeah,
there's a trick to all of that as well.
Yeah, man, that's wonderful. You know, it's funny, Joe, when we worked together too, you always said that you need to find whatever it is that you're passionate with and use that as a business, use that as a monetary thing too. That's like, it's like no excuses too. And so I always took that, even when I moved back to the DMV, I always took that mindset, that passion, find what it is that you're passionate of doing too. And that's how I built it. You know, of course, a mutual friend started a very successful, trucking company too. That's episode 2, guys. So check that out.
Keep in mind when you look at your skill set, oftentimes people, when you are passionate about something, if it becomes the string to your livelihood, you can get burnt out very fast. So always remember, if you're making $100, put 50 of it aside. That's for emergencies. The other 50, the other 20 of that 50, you might could explore. So always meet your needs. But when you're thinking about passion and skill set, the reason why I'm capable and able to do those, all of those things, I stay in my lane. I'm not at any one point in time trying to become the fashion director. I'm not trying to be the scientist. I'm not trying to be the marketing guru. I am the creative bone in all of these opportunities that I'm a part of. And so I stick to that skill set and I master that skill set, and I'm able to transfer that into the fashion industry, into the finance industry, into the education system. But I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it differently for those different markets, which makes it easy for me. Does that make sense? It's easy because I'm just designing. I'm still designing in all those spaces. I'm getting exposure and experience in all those spaces. So as you're creating your lifestyle, think of what skill you love to do easily. If it's talking to people, if it's drawing, if it's whatever it may be, and then diversify that skill set the same way you would do a stock portfolio, right? You take the same asset and you diversify it into different stocks, right? You take the same asset, money, and you diversify it into shoes, clothes, houses, cars, but it's the same asset. Use your skill set just like an asset and diversify it in different industries, but you master that asset as you're getting that experience.
Okay. So let's just say like I am a hungry up and comer too. I want to get into it, but I want to join your team. Like I want to join your business, what does it take to be in your team and or employee or mentee to be a part of your organizations, multiple organizations?
Yeah, for me personally, it's just the willingness to listen,
Mhm.
the humbleness to know that you're not, there's space to learn, and the fearlessness to know that if you make a small mistake, you can adjust and move forward. If we're talking about a specialized skill, then that's a little different, right? If we're talking about a marketing strategist, then you have to have experience in marketing. If we're talking about a graphic designer, you have to have skill set as a graphic designer. But if we're talking about just being a human, the idea of listening and being able to learn, the ability not to be fearful, you're able to take risk and make adjustments as you move forward, are some key things that I would champion for my space.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I really like the way you said that listening, being eagerness to learn, also being open and knowing that, you know what, mistake, but then at the end of the day, you're going to be successful. I really like the kind of the skills that you actually already listed out for individuals who want to be a part of your team. What other advice would you give to someone who is starting out in any industry or even in your industry as well? You said education, having that willingness to, stick to your lane, learn what your hone your skill set. What can you give another example of another, skill or something that someone should have stepping into your industry?
For me, a problem solver, that's a huge skill set. You're able to take on, you could see a problem, you could boil that problem down to its root cause, what's causing this issue. You're able to input how you could address that problem. And then again, agile implementation, you could iterate, you can practice it, and then adjust as you move forward. So problem solving is a major thing. I always tell my daughters, everybody has the faith that something can happen, right? But if you believe what I believe, there's also another half of that has to happen inside of just having faith. It says, you gotta work, right? If you don't apply work to that belief, then you're just a believer. You're just believing. You're not doing anything. So as you problem solve, just think of ways to apply every day to work towards what you're trying to accomplish. Even if it's 30 minutes, so be it. You got to work towards what you're trying to accomplish. And then in that problem solving, also know you're going to fail. Not that you intend to fail. No one intends to fail, but comparatively, you may find like, I could have done it better. I could have done it differently. But those are not moments that you get deflated and then get complacent and get comfortable. Those are moments where you continue to push through and continue to work. So problem solving will be a huge asset component as you're trying to be an asset in the market, because that's the point. If you solve my problem, I'll give you my money, right? Because that solving that problem does what for me? Saves me time.
Yeah.
And if I don't have money, I have time. And if I don't have time, then I think of the triple constraints: time, resources, and then quality, right? You're balancing everything you do along that triple constraint, right? And if it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money. Also the ability to have higher quality, but knowing when to give and take in those spaces, because you can't always have the optimal quality, because sometimes they don't have the budget, right? And I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but hopefully those ideas and concepts make sense.
Yeah, it does. Like 100% too. Shoot, I'm taking notes. Like, let me practice that. But one more question too. I wanted to ask you in the beginning, but what was childhood Joe? What did he always wanted to be when he grew up? I know, we always ask our guests that too. Someone said they wanted to be a Power Ranger. Others others wanted to be president. What did Joe wanted to be?
I just knew I wanted to create. I always thought, drawing was what I would make a living off of. You always had a superficial things that you wanted to be. Knight Rider was one that I aspired to be. And that dates me. So
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that's your audience.
It's
But,
Yeah.
but I mean, the idea that a car could talk was like, it was intriguing to me. And I felt
Mhm.
like, man, if a car could talk, maybe I could design something like that. So I always wanted to
Oh,
be
wow.
an artist. And so again, I was always told, stick to your passion and your skill set. Again, not just your passion, because sometimes you're passionate about love, right? You stick to that, it can lead you somewhere you can't afford, right?
Mhm.
But if you stick to couple that with your skill set, then you can win. You can't fail.
Okay. Perfect.
So thanks.
Thank
So
you.
actually at the end of our episode, but we really want our viewers to be able to contact you. So how can they be able to reach you? Do you have an IG, things of that nature? How can we, our
Business, websites, you know.
website?
I am at Below the Brim on all social media channels. Some of them have LLC at the end of it. So Below the Brim LLC, that's
Okay.
BELOWTHEBRIM.
Mhm.
I'm there on Instagram, Below the Brim on Instagram. And you can find me there on Twitter, Facebook. My website is belowthebrim.com. That's my personal brand. So you can reach out there, or you can reach out to Rebecca and Foley. They'll put you in to contact me. Hopefully Foley, you can confirm that anytime someone wants to talk through something,
Mhm.
make myself available to help out as best as I can. I am a great problem solver, so you know I may ask a few questions, but I will give you a few creative thoughts and ideas to help you progress your career path wherever you want to progress it.
Yeah, and I can attest to that too. Yeah, he's like the Sherlock Holmes of branding. So
Yeah, you know, we built that aspiring professionals program at
yeah.
Discover, and we targeted putting minorities in leadership at Discover Card or Discover Financial, and we had an 80% turnout, where 80% of the people that came through that program that were minorities are in leadership now, and not just leaders as like some off end career. I'm talking about department managers, running call centers, doing design work, doing video work. So I do have the experience in kind of helping people chart that territory.
Yeah, that is true. Definitely. Joe, thank you for being on our show too. I really appreciate it too. I'm like, man, we killing this second season too.
Yeah,
we killing this. I was like,
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully I didn't ramble or talk too much and mess up the quality.
no,
But I appreciate the opportunity. I do.
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much. And
All right.
we'll talk to you later.
All right, no problem, guys. Take care.
All right, take care. Bye. There you go. That's another episode, another great episode too. I learned a lot about design and branding, and it was wonderful. Got a chance to talk to Mr. Joe Brim. But you can also talk to us on our also social media platforms. Rebecca, take it away.
You can also reach out to us. So we are Reley Career Services LLC at gmail.com. That's our email address.
Mhm.
Feel free to reach us on IG at Reley Career Services, Facebook, YouTube. We have our YouTube page, which also has our season 1, and we're going to be having our season 2. And feel free to also reach out to our website. That is where we have a info page where you can submit your queries and questions to us regarding our services. We do resume writing, cover letters, we do mock interviews. We also do career guidance and counseling as well. So feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help you. If you have any ideas of new show topics or topics of people you want us to interview or things you want us to see on our show, Reley Career Talk, this is your opportunity to reach out to us. And thank you guys so much for watching, and look forward to also seeing more episodes. So thank you so much.
We got really great guests coming.
Yeah.
And thank you. Season 2.